there's been a crap ton of news that's released over the past 24 hours. Due to this, I'm going to have to release 2 videos for today. For this one, you guys, we discuss a new name that we're being linked to sign at left wing back, and this player in particular sounds extremely promising and exciting. And of course, big links surrounding one of the hottest young strikers in European football right now. So you guys, there's a ton of things to break down. Hope you guys enjoy the content today. And before we get into anything, I want to get one big plug out of the way first. Today's video is brought to you by SPITCH, the ultimate new fantasy manager app, new on the market, which allows you to fulfill your personal managerial goals. See yourself as something as a young Thomas Tuchel, you guys? Well, prove it. With SPITCH, build your very own lineups and then use those lineups to compete in free leagues or in communities where you guys have the opportunity to win a share of up to 70k weekly prize giveaway. But beforehand, scroll down and decide whether you want to pay to compete or whether you want to take advantage of the free options, of course, to just try the app out for yourself and see how things go. As you guys can see, I'm sticking with 3-4-3. It's been good to us and it's been good to me personally, you guys. And as you can see, this is the lineup I'm competing with. You have up to 150 million to spend. The less you spend though, the more manager points you can use that can just boost your chances of getting them few extra points you need. And then once you do that, you guys, pick your captain, which is double points as well too. Now I know that a ton of you guys have downloaded the app already, but what you have to do is register, which is very quick, very easy. I'm going to show you guys on screen. Register to fully take advantage of competition if you want to take part in these 70k weekly prize giveaways, you guys. Once your team's confirmed, join free, and of course you must provide some ID verification just to make sure that you are 18 plus. It's very straightforward, very simple, and once you've done that, that's it, you guys. It really is that simple. I hope you guys enjoy. Of course, you have to be 18 plus to be able to download the app. You'll find a link below in the description and the comments as well. And getting back to the main video, now we start with the first story and we turn our attentions to a report that came up from Canadian media outlet TSN, who are known for really breaking the big stories surrounding like top Canadian, athletes and talents. And they report that us, alongside Man United and a host of big football clubs, are after the extremely promising and exciting Jonathan David from Lille. Now, of course, next month, you guys, we play against Lille in the first leg of the round of 16 of the Champions League. And Jonathan David, even though last season, first half of that season, he did start a bit slow. Since then, he has grown acclimatized to his new teammates, to playing at a high division as well too. And this guy is like scoring stats for his age, only just turning 22 years old. The guy is a bona fide star. For me, this guy is destined to be one of the next great strikers in European football. And to be fair, you guys that have been watching me for a very long time, you've known my reports on David beforehand. You know that he has been on the scouting radars of this club previously too, when he was just like putting in ridiculous numbers playing for Ghent back in Belgium. So I'm more than happy to hear any link for a player like this. Now they report that Lille have slapped a potential valuation between 30 mil to 50 mil as well too. We know that in Liga and currently, they've really been impacted by COVID. Financially, many teams are suffering too. So it does feel like Liga and is definitely a great league to, look to find the next big talent for a very reasonable fee. David, for me, on paper, I feel like he could definitely work at this club. Now he's a player that really plays more as like a support striker, or plays very well linking up with others or playing off of a main focal point. And you know what, I'm going to say this here, sometimes when we read reports like this, it's very easy to be quite cynical and just like dismiss reports. I think we understand that with all the players we're linked with, we're obviously not going to sign all of them. But if there's one bit of information to take from these reports, you guys, actually focus on the roles these players play and focus on the positions of many of these names being linked with us, because that gives you the real information. Because in football, agents talk, deals happening left, right and centre, conversations happen all the time as well too. And when clubs look for players, they're probably looking at 10 players for one position. So all this tells me is that expect to see some attacking reinforcement for next season. And I guess it really depends on the actual main attacking reinforcement we're looking to sign. So far we're linked with a ton of wingers, and we're also linked with a lot of players that play off of a main focal point and play up front with another striker. So Is that telling us that the club are clearly trying to find some ways to maybe unlock Lukaku? I think the reality is that when you've spent so much money on an individual, you kind of have to do your best to try and get the best out of them before you just completely give up on them and look to try and sell them on. The reality is, even if we try to sell Lukaku, we'd be taking a very big loss at this point in time. And with many clubs not even needing forwards like that currently, I feel like it would be an absolute travesty if we don't find a way to try and get the best of not only him, but the rest of our attacking players. And I think David could be a very interesting and exciting player to do so. Now, back again, he was playing in a wing-back system there too, playing as the cam behind two strikers. And like, one of the sick things about his game here is that this guy's movement in behind, his ability to just time his runs, the stupid acceleration he possesses as well too. It combines beautifully, you guys. And for me, think of Jonathan David as the technical version of Timo Werner with the ability to score from both feet. For me, you know, he's really showing that he's one of the most exciting young forwards in European football currently. He works extremely hard. I mean, he ranks very high for pressures in the final third, which is definitely going to suit a system like ours. You know, Tuchel wants his front men to work hard and put in that shift. And the fact that he can play up front with a strike partner and in behind too in those potential cam positions in our 3-4-2-1, I definitely think that his versatility could make a ton of sense here if we look to turn our interest into something more concrete. For me, this is definitely the type of player that I'm happy to be linked with as well too. For me, this is the guy that you sell Timo Werner for, to bring him and make him part of the squads. You guys, how do you find this news? Do you think Jonathan David would be a very intelligent decision to make in the transfer market this summer? Right now, you guys, we end things with another big story that broke. So now we turn to the attention of Sky Deutschland's reports, where they state that we have expressed an intent to sign Stuttgart's left wing back in BORNA SOSA. Now, Stuttgart naturally don't want to lose one of their key players midway through the season, so they've slapped on a valuation of 30 million euros to try to deter any of our interests. And, you know, I can imagine what some of you guys are thinking, Nini, like, why are we going back to the Bundesliga again? How many players have we signed there to middling success? Are we really that desperate to sign anyone to get some competition at left wing back? You know, I can understand those frustrations, but for me, ultimately, you guys, when you look at signing a player, you have to make sure that they can complement and fit your current style of play. And I definitely feel like BORNA SOSA, from that perspective, would be a very big and interesting signing. So I think it's only natural that you guys, I give my thoughts and opinions to just give you some insight behind his game and why you should be quite interested and excited by these new links towards him. Sosa was born in Croatia, however recently he has decided to represent Germany, which is going to be a massive loss to Croatia. He was one of the stars of their 1998 youth group, you guys, and Sosa has really started to live up now to the potential that he's displayed for many years. Sosa has the ability to cover both boxes, which is what you need to have in your wingback. Last season, when Stuttgart moved away from their 4-3-2-1 system to a 3-4-2-1 system, that's when Sosa really came to life. And yeah, there's a reason why he is known as the new David Beckham, and that's because of his crossing ability. I mean, this guy can play every single type of cross you can imagine. Your flat crosses, your low drivens, he can find his man at the near post, the far post, he can find his man inside the box, he can play these crosses early as well too. And as we're seeing now in modern day football, you look at your, Trent Alexander-Arnold's, your Reece James and many others as well, having your fullbacks, wingbacks who have the ability to kind of playmate from these deep areas really just helps break the lines even more, disrupt blocks even more as well too. And considering that Lukaku is struggling right now because he has not been found early with that service, well, this is where Sosa down the left-hand side could be maybe that player to help unlock Lukaku in this team. I mean, Sosa literally is like the definition of a key pass merchant. Every single time he's contributing to the play. You know, he plays amazing line-breaking passes. He can play those passes in behind too, which is very important for us, to play those balls in behind, to find our strikers and our front man early. I think that's like the big disconnect that this team is currently facing. We have players that prefer to play it more horizontally, playing it sideways, whereas maybe that's going to take away from that movement ability that a lot of our players do possess. And this is why I feel like Sosa could be like a very smart option to buy. Now, he is faster than Marcos Alonso, in case you guys are worrying about that lack of pace too. He can play all down that left-hand side, at left back, at left mid, left wing, etc, etc. And he's very good from set pieces, and he has a very strong shot as well too. He got a ton of assists last season in the Bundesliga. This season though, it has been a little bit different. One of those reasons is that he doesn't have that target man that was finding his crosses from last season. Of course, we know that Stuttgart have the Austrian mountain in Kolasinac. Him and Sosa had an incredible relationship. You know, Sosa constantly finding him inside the box, finding him early. And as we're seeing with Lukaku, with many runs not being spotted early, many players not watching him, you know, find that space in behind and that ability to spin his defender and man, I feel like you can't give up on him, but you need to make those smart additions to the squads that can, of course, help unlock him and help play to his strengths. I think that for us to move forward, we have to find that 50-50 ability between Lukaku working for the team and also adapting his game. And of course, the team also making those smart adaptations to get the best out of Lukaku. His crossing really is like a ridiculous asset to have though. And I just think that having someone like a Reece James and Ben, ideally for those competition places behind them, we need to have wingbacks or fullbacks that have that ability to also cross the ball and provide those same things, maybe not to the same level, but provide those same attributes that complement how the team transitions in the final thirds. Let's hope we see more from the story. It's interesting. At the club now have to accept that we have to go to the market with Emerson even contracting COVID and Leon just rejecting every offer proposing for him, and Emerson wanting to remain as well too. It does feel like we are going to have to sign someone now before this window ends, because if we don't, you guys, this could be a real battle on our hands to try and fight for a spot to get top 4 football. So you guys, on that note, that is the first video out of the way. Hope you guys enjoyed. How do you find the links to Jonathan David and to Sosa? Let us all know below. I'm Nini FC, this is Blue Lions TV. Catch you guys later with some more videos. Cool.